Welcome. We're at St. Francis High School in Mountain View, California, and it's a beautiful, crisp fall evening. I'm Mark Diamond, and we have KMVT Friday Night Football. We had the clouds rolling in tonight, and we also have coming into town two excellent teams to playing each other. The St. Francis Lancers are hosting a conquest against the Valley Christian High School Warriors. Now we're getting ready for the coin toss right now. We have the captains of both teams going out. These two teams know each other very well. They've played against each other quite often. Both teams have fairly large rosters, a lot of players on them. As we get ready for the toss. And all right. Christian Valley wins the toss, and they're going to defer. Christian Valley is going to defend the north end of the field. Correction, the south end of the field. Christian Valley Warriors play in the Central Coast Section West Catholic League. They have arrived tonight into Mountain View from the South Bay with a strong 4-1 record, 2-0 in their league. Last week, the Warriors beat the St. Ignatius Prep with a fairly commanding 28-12 win. Head coach for the Warriors is Mike Machado. As you can see, both teams are actually at the head of their standings within the West Catholic League standings. Both St. Francis and Valley Christian with a 2-0 win. St. Francis also plays in the Central Coast Section West. St. Francis greets this visiting team with a stronger 4-0 record. Tonight they are looking to continue this win streak after defeating Sacred Heart Prep 37-13 just last week. Now this is a conference game for both teams, and St. Francis coach is Greg Calcagano. Both these coaches know each other. They have a good relationship. A lot of respect between both the coaches, and equally important between the two different teams. Christian Valley ready to kick. Jonathan Seife is the kicker. A little short kick that's going to stop about the 10. Good run up the middle. Finally gets stopped around the 33-yard line. And that's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Lancers. Weather tonight is pretty beautiful with temperatures in low to mid 60s. A little bit breezy right now, but that about 7-mile-an-hour breeze, but that's expected to diminish throughout the game. Just a cool, crisp fall football weather. Handoff, run up the middle. He's going to get stopped, and we'll see if that's tackled for a loss. We're going to see where they measure forward progress on that. Keo was the ball carrier on that. You can't talk about the season for St. Francis until you can talk about the win they had against De La Salle out of Concord. It's going to be no game, 2nd and 10. Another handoff, another quick stop. Juju Teo, again, the ball carrier. Looks like he basically no gain on that. That's going to leave up 3rd and 10. A little bit of a slow start for St. Francis tonight. Juju, you can see pretty much anticipated that run by Value Christian. Let's see what the coach wants to do. It's a little early in the game to do anything risky, and they are 3rd and 10 all the way back on their own 31-yard line. We have a pass and a completion. Ryan Lee on the catch, and that's going to be enough for a first down for St. Francis. We're going to be talking about this tonight. St. Francis is really known for wanting to run the ball. They definitely prefer the ground game over the air game. Just a bit surprising that they would try throwing the ball so early in the game at this point, but obviously it's successful for them. So they're going to spot that on the 43-yard line, and we have a timeout. And this is going to be the first timeout, and it's going to be taken by the Lancers. We're talking about the highlight of St. Francis' season was their 31-28 upset win over what was thought to be undefeatable De La Salle out of Concord. This was the first defeat of De La Salle from a team in this region in more than 30 years. I'm going to repeat that. Earlier this season, St. Francis was able to beat De La Salle, the unbeatable team, 31-28. And De La Salle has not lost a local team in 30 years. A huge victory for St. Francis, and obviously is giving them a lot of energy throughout the season. All right, we're back 1st and 10. Hand off to Teo. Teo's got it all the way back. Teo's on the 30, down to the 20, finally gets pushed off. That's going to be a good run for about 45 yards. Juju Teo so far, previous to this game, had 658 rushing yards, 105 receiving yards. See the replay, we can see him cutting up on the left-hand side. Finally gets pushed out by number 48, Tyler Findley. But that's obviously enough to get well into Warrior territory, 1st and 10 Lancers. Another handoff. Camilla Arquette is the ball carrier on that. And Arquette was able to get about 6 yards. That's going to bring up 2nd and 4. St. Francis is really looking this year to win, obviously, the West Catholic Conference. And they feel pretty good about their start, especially with their win over De La Salle. 9:30 left in the first quarter. Handoff to Teo. And Teo is going to stretch. We'll see if he made it all the way. It's going to be close where they spot it. And it's going to be close. He got about 3 yards on that. It's going to leave 3rd and about a yard. So 3rd and 1 left. And they made it all the way into the Warrior 15-yard line at this point. That's where they're going to spot it. Short pitch again to Teo. But we have a flag. Oh, we got 2 flags down. So, correction, Arquette was the ball carrier in that, but we'll see if those flags are about. Actually, 2 sets of flags. Personal foul face mask, and that's going to go against the Warriors, so that's going to be half the distance to the goal. That's going to be an automatic first down, and that's going to leave them at about on the 7 and 1st and goal. we talked about how the Lancers really want to do the run game. Obviously, one of the Lancers have been building up their stamina. You got to think that the coach for Valley Christian has been really working on stamina for his players, expensive for his defense, especially for the defensive line early in the game, but Lancers really like this grounded out strategy. Okay, so handoff to Teo again, and he gets about 4 yards on it, and that's going to be a little bit more, not quite into the end zone, but slowly making his way. I think Valley Christian is confident that it can hold off on the smaller plays. Their main objective tonight is just holding off on the big plays. If they can prevent the big plays, they feel like they're going to be successful. Again, handoff to Teo. Doesn't get too far, gets anticipated on that, and that's going to bring up 3rd and goal. It looks up, there's a flag down. And that's going to be encroachment against the Warriors. And with that, that's going to be half the distance to the goal. Repeat 2nd down. Hand off to Teo. And again, gets stopped. This would be a heck of a stop for the Warriors if they could hold them. St. Francis tends to be pretty successful when they get in the red zone. Replay on this. Going with Teo, but again, Warriors anticipated that and are able to stop them with effectively no gain on the play. 3rd and about 2. And all the way forward, Camilo Arquette for the touchdown. And we hear the cannon. 6:39 in their first quarter. And St. Francis is the first to actually go out and put some points on the board. And that gets blocked. So that PAT is not good. So that's a miss. So that's going to leave them with just 6 points, but a good start again for St. Francis. The last time these two teams played was in April earlier this year, and that was that special COVID-deferred spring season that we saw. And during that competition, it went into overtime. Valley Christian beat St. Francis. They were finally able to beat them 16-13. That was actually a fairly exciting game, and we're going to expect the same tonight. Valley is 11-10 against St. Francis since 2004. So again, these two teams play a lot, and Valley Christian has the edge. And despite the St. Francis win that they had against the tougher schools, this is really anybody's game tonight. Interesting. CalPrep's computer picked St. Francis to prevail overnight. I quite frankly have little confidence in those computer forecasts, especially for a game like this. Last I checked, these football games were played by boys and girls and not by computers, but we'll have to see tonight. Matthew Carrick is going to be the kicker. Dickey and Minomi deep to receive. Good kick, and that's going to roll all the way to the end zone for a touchback. You know, if we look at the rankings of these teams, the San Jose Mercury News, which is probably one of the more respected media outlets for high school football ranks Valley Christian at number 12 in the South Bay and St. Francis as number 2. Again, two fairly strong teams here tonight. All right, 1st and 10. We got to run all the way up the right-hand side. Good effort. Good speed cutting around. Number 22, Josh Minami. And Josh is not only able to get a first down, he's able to bring it out almost to midfield. They're going to spot about the 44, still in Warrior territory. Josh Minami has 213 rushing yards so far this evening, 10 receiving yards. So I think we're going to see, he's one of the players we're going to see a lot of tonight. 1st and 10. And that gets stopped fairly quickly. Margaristi, number 21, was the ball carrier in there, and he got a couple yards on that. So that's going to be 2nd and 8, spotted on the 46-yard line. On the Valley Christian side, we're going to see a lot of Jurian Dickey. Jurian's a junior, and he leads the Central Coast section with 574 receiving yards and 10 TDs. Pocket is collapsing, scramble, runs on the right-hand side. Actually turns a bad play into a very good play. Jackson Berman, the quarterback. We're going to see a lot of Jackson tonight, obviously, the quarterback. Jackson was able to create something out of nothing out of that, scrambling around out of the pocket. Jackson has 806 passing yards, but 513 rushing yards this season. So, again, between he and Jurian, I mean, they're the real two power players behind this Christian Valley team. Jackson wasn't able quite enough to get a first down, so it's going to be 3rd and about 1. But he did make it into Lancer territory, and they spotted that on the 48-yard line. See in the replay, just scrambles, just pure effort, able to make something out of that. Lesser quarterbacks would have been tackled for loss or sacked on that, and that's not the case here. 3rd and 1, handoff again. And that's going to be tackled with essentially no gain. Nathan Zapea is the ball carrier on that, and Nathan, nope, actually they're going to rule forward progress on that. That's going to be 1st down for Valley Christian. So the Warriors are slowly marching down the field on this one. I really anticipate tonight's going to be a fairly high-scoring game. These are two strong offenses, and while the defenses are strong, these are two teams that know how to score well. 1st and 10. Agarita, ball carrier, he actually finally gets put down, but Agarita was able to get yet another first down. You know, the St. Francis, as we talked about, is really strong on the ground game and to some extent a little bit more predictable. Valley Christian tends to vary it a little bit more. They're not as afraid about throwing the ball, or they're more open to throwing the ball and running the ball. We're going to have to see if that keeps the Lancers a little bit more on their toes. 1st and 10. It's short pass completion. Arista, and we have another first down out of that. Just like we're talking about, we're seeing the Warriors a little more open to playing it in the air. and obviously was able to get something out of that. We see in the replay. Berman pulls back. Just a short pass, short completion, enough for a first down. So the ball's on the 19. First and 10. Another handoff. Argaristi. And I don't think he got much out of that. We're going to have to see where they spot it. Yeah, he probably got a couple yards. That's going to bring 2nd and 8 up. Good crowd for Friday night. Both St. Francis as is typical, as well as Valley Christian bringing a lot of fans out tonight. Oh, Berman, it's short completion there on the pass. Got it to Jurian Dickey. Jackson, again, not afraid to throw the ball, and not afraid to throw the ball if he feels like he's in trouble and he's got somebody open. So a little bit of a gain on that, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. 2:59 left in this first quarter. And we may have a delay of game on that one. We'll have to see. Oh, no, we had a timeout. Very close. Valley Christian wasn't quite ready in time, and so they called a timeout. So this is the first timeout of the half for the Warriors. And we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. It's going to be 3rd and 6, Warrior ball. Berman looks like he's ready to pass. He decides actually to run, and we'll see how far he got. Where they spot that, it's going to be pretty close, if not a first down. Yeah. And with that, they're going to move the sticks up. Yeah, first down. You know, both of these teams are doing a good combination of some big plays and some smaller plays. They're sort of grounding it out with the short passes and short runs. But so far in the drives by both teams, they've had a few large plays that have really put them in scoring position. .220 left in this quarter. Again, 1st and goal. Ball is spotted on the 9-yard line. Handoff to number 21. Argaristi and a little bit of progress on that, not too much. That's going to bring up 2nd down. Jeffrey Zhu on the tackle for the defense. This is going to be Jeffrey Zhu's 11th tackle of the season, a solo tackle of the season. He also has 5 assists. Pressure on the St. Francis defense. See if they can hold them. And we've got a flag right at the snap. So we're going to guess either an encroachment or a false start, but we'll have to see what the officials tell us. Yes, a false start. And that's going to be 5 yards and repeat of the down against the Warriors. So that's going to be 2nd and goal on the 11-yard line. Short pass, complete, and that's good for a touchdown. The Warriors come right on back with that. Kai Hamilton for the completion on that and adds 6 points to tie up the game. That was a little bullet thrown by Berman, just right at the right place. Very good pass. See on the replay, saw him right into the end zone. Open player. And now for the PAT. Jonathan Seife. And that one is going to be good. But we have a flag down, so we'll probably watch this one being kicked again. See what this laundry's about. Maybe illegal participation. Field goal is good. Personal foul, face mask, and that's going to go against the Warriors. I guess they're going to assess that after on the kick. And so with that, that's good. They haven't updated the scoreboard, but the ref indicated that it was. Just to confirm that. And we're still figuring it out, I guess. Yeah, so they're going to spot that ball on the kick on the 45-yard line. You know, for these two good teams, you're going to have to wonder, is it really going to come down to the PATs and the field goals? I have a feeling both these teams can match one another for touchdown, and so St. Francis miss of that first PAT after that first touchdown. You wonder if that's going to come back to haunt them later in the game. So if I understand my rules correctly, I'm guessing that the personal foul was not against the Warriors. It looked like the officials had indicated, but against the Lancers, because they are spotting this kick all the way deep into Lancer territory on their 45-yard line. So very short kicking field. This is all about distance control, or as expected, it's just going to go for a touchback in the end zone. And we'll be back in a minute. We have a 7-6 ball game with 5:53 left in the first quarter. All right. Correction, 55 seconds, not 5 minutes. 55 seconds left in this first quarter. 1st and 10. Ball in the 20. And there's going to be a short run on that one. Juju Teo, the ball carrier on that, and Juju, I take it back. He was able to make about 6 yards on that, so that's going to bring up 2nd and 4. As the clock rolls down, we'll see. You should get one more play off in the quarter. A pass and a completion to Arquette. Arquette gets it and gets far enough to get a first down. He gets pushed out about the 37-yard line, but they're going to bring up the sticks. He makes his way out of bounds, and that's going to stop the clock. No, they're going to keep the clock rolling as they move up the sticks. You can see, and that's going to end the first quarter in a second, but let's see the replay here. Short screen pass, got it. Finally gets tackled. And so we're end of the first quarter. We will be back. And we're back, beginning of the second quarter, 1st and 10. And before we can get started, there's a flag down for the snap, and we're going to guess that's going to be a false start, but we'll see what they say. No, that's going to be encroachment against the Lancers, so Lancers are going to, the Warriors are going to start this with a 5-yard penalty. We're seeing a lot of penalties there. I got to think that these players are going to end up running a lot of gassers come Monday. A lot of these coaches want the players to field the penalties, and at least on some teams, make them run it off. Okay, 1st and 5. Handoff to Teo. Juju Teo up the right-hand side. Finally gets pushed out. We talked about them making some of those little plays and then putting in the big play. There was another big play by Juju Teo. And Juju was able to make it all the way out to the 27-yard line. That's a gain of it's a 25-yard run on there. Yeah, we mentioned Juju has 658 rushing yards before this game this season. 1st and 10, St. Francis. Handoff again to Juju, but he gets stopped. And we'll see where they have forward progress. If he best he gets maybe a yard or two. You got to bet that the St. Francis coach, Greg Calcagno, really studied the tapes on this team before they play. Both these coaches are known for really wanting to research their opponents. And to some extent, with the pandemic changed rosters, we're seeing a lot of players change, and so these coaches are always trying to get a fresh look at their opponents. All right, 2nd and 11. Pass by St. Francis all the way back, and it is overthrown, unfortunately, for St. Francis. Intended for Andrew Atkinson, but well back there. Although we have a Warrior injury timeout, so we will be back. Tyler Finley, the injured Valley Christian player who's fortunately walking off on the field on his own. Bring up that replay of that run from a couple plays ago from Juju. He really doesn't have a lot of room, but he finds a hole and actually is able to run up the right-hand side and get some good yardage on that. Found the gap. Okay. 3rd and 11. Handoff again to Teo. And Juju is able to get something on that. But that's going to bring up 4th and about 8. Ball's on the 25 or 26. We'll have to see what Calcano does. Does he go for the field goal? A little bit long for the field goal, but not out of the question. Looks like they're going to want to go for it. So big stop for the defense on Valley Christian if they can get it here. Not quite in the red zone for the Lancers, but we got a pass that is completed and get some extra on that. Clayton Lynham on the completion on that, and he was able to get all the way down, not only a 1st down, so do the 4th down conversion, but he's going to bring up 1st and goal on the 7-yard line. First and goal. Handoff to Teo, and that's not going to go anywhere. And so maybe a short gain on that one, a 2-yard gain. We're really seeing a big difference in the fall football season than what we saw from the spring. In the spring, we really had limited attendance and no cheer squad. And we've said this all season, but this fall, the cheer squad is here, the fans are here, everybody's out here. It just feels so good to be back to somewhat normal, see these kids play. 2nd and goal. Handoff to Arquette. Arquette powers his way through, and that's going to be a touchdown for St. Francis. As the cannon goes off, 8:49 left in the half, and St. Francis comes back as we expected with another touchdown to answer. Little hand up Arquette again, finding that gap and making it through, and enough to get right into the end zone. Arquette's got it. And we'll see on this PAT, as we mentioned, the first PAT and the first touchdown was not good. And that one is very good, so that's going to bring up, with 8:49 left, 13-7. St. Francis Lancers over the Valley Christian Warriors, and we'll be back. Ready for the kick in the backfield. The Warriors have 13, Jurian Dickey, and 22, Josh Minami. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of Jurian Dickey tonight. Matthew Carrick, kicker for St. Francis. Good kick. Oh, and that's bobbled a little bit. Recovered, though. But Minami, he gets a little out of that. He was able to make it about to the 23-yard line. We'll see who has this ball. Oh, no, it is. Despite St. Francis's players arguing otherwise, it remains Valley Christian's ball. See that little bobble? That was dangerous, but he was able to recover pretty quickly from Minami. But that few seconds cost him probably 10 yards. 1st and 10. Handoff. Good spin. Mark Agaristi is able to get about 8 yards on that, 2nd and 8 right now. You know, in this first half, we expect this a little bit to be a war of attrition with each team running the ball up and seeing if they can tire out the defensive line and looking for the cracks. Again, both teams is looking for that big play. Handoff. And that's not going to go anywhere. Minami, the ball carrier again on that one. 3rd and 1 right now. This is going to be a fairly important conversion for the Warriors. We've seen some pretty good momentum by both teams right now. You got to wonder, are they just going to go for something short, get the completion? Or are they going to get a little more bold on this? See what the coach is thinking for the Warriors. We got a pass and a good completion to Dickey. Dickey doesn't have anywhere to go, but that's going to be enough for a 1st down and bring it up. Dickey gets pushed out about the 44-yard line. Jurian Dickey, again, is probably one of the more heavily recruited players in the Bay Area. Very modest player. Adds a lot of energy to his teammates. despite his own performance being so good. Handoff. Argaristi, the ball carrier, number 21. And Argaristi is probably going to get about 4 yards on that, 3 yards on that. That's going to bring up 2nd and 7. And we get a pass, long pass. Oh, intended for number 22, and lots of laundry on the field. That was pretty easy to see. Number 6, Camila Arquette. We are going to guess that's going to be pass interference against the Lancers. And no surprise there. This one is harder to miss. Yeah, he was pushed down 2 seconds before the ball got there. So that's going to be 15 yards and another first down. And as we'll remember, in college and in high school, PI is not at the point of the foul, but rather a 15-yard penalty. But that's enough to bring the Warriors into Lancer territory. Mike Mikado, head coach for the Warriors, very good about calling plays and keep the momentum going forward. And right before that ball is snapped, they call a timeout. This is going to be the second timeout of the half. 5:47 left in the second quarter. One more timeout left, and we will be back. Okay, we're back. 1st and 10. And another pass completed, caught by Dickey. Another completion for Dickey, and that's going to be very close, but probably a first down. I'll wait for the officials, obviously, to call that. See where they spot that. No, I'm wrong. It's going to be 2nd and 1. We've been talking about how Mikado really is trying to keep the momentum going, and very good combination of both run plays and pass plays. We talked about this earlier, how Valley Christian really is not afraid to mix it up, and it's really keeping the St. Francis defense a little bit guessing and to their advantage. 2nd and 1. And before we start, we have a timeout. Correction, false start, so that's going to be 5 yards against the Warriors. That's going to bring them back to 2nd and 6 now. Oh, and we got a second flag for unsportsmanlike, so that's going to be another 15 yards. So we're going to go back a ways. We got to do some counting here. And I'm guessing that the unsportsmanlike happened after the play was dead, so those are going to be accumulative penalties. And so if we could do the math right now, that's going to bring them up to about 2nd and 20. 2nd and 21. Ouch. 4:57 left in the half. Wasn't quite sure what the unsportsman was on or who, but it's going to cost them. And so now they get some yards to make up. Berman's got it. Berman keeps it, runs up the middle. Berman keeps on going. Berman has got the touchdown for the Warriors. Valley Christian comes back on another successive drive for a touchdown. I don't know if that was an RPO or not, but he just saw it and took it. And obviously a very good decision by Berman. You'll see, he's looking, doesn't see anything, and he just decides to go up the middle. He puts on the speed for Berman all the way into the end zone. And we've got flags right before the PAT. That's going to be a false start. And these penalties aren't a major factor yet, but again, I imagine a lot of gassers for these teams. These are not good penalties. These are sloppy. Okay, one more time with feeling. And that PAT is good, so matching touchdowns, but two good PATs versus only one good PAT allows the Warriors to go ahead 14-13, 4:30 left in the half, and we'll be back. All right, we're back. 4:30 left in the second quarter. 14-13 lead of the Warriors, obviously keeping pace with the Lancers. Number 25, Carter Will. Good kick, and they're going to let that just fall back into the end zone for a touchback. So St. Francis is going to start this little bit left in the second quarter from their own 20-yard line. We have to see if we're going to see more of the Atamu from St. Francis on there. Villami, too. Juju really averages 8.7 yards per carry. The other player we may see more is Tim Natane, who's got 3 of St. Francis's 4 touchdowns. This could be about a 3 or 4 yard gain. Not a lot. 4:18 left. 14-13. Maybe call it 2nd and 5 at this point. We've seen a lot of good patience by both these teams. Mark of a good football team. We haven't seen any other than the penalties, a little sloppiness, but no significant errors or turnovers so far. Knock on wood for both teams. Handoff to Juju. Tio. And Juju only gets a couple yards out of that. That's going to bring up 3rd and 4th. Really important conversion. Both of these teams have had the momentum so far. Both of them have had successful touchdown drives. If the Warrior defense can get a stop here, that's going to be important because that's going to disrupt the momentum that both teams have. Both teams' offense have had so far. And again, you got to wonder, is the St. Francis coach, Greg Calcano, is he going to go for the big play on this? Pass. Short completion by 85. Spins out of it. That's going to be Dylan Golden on the completion there, but that's enough for Dylan to get that first down and get that all-important 3rd down conversion. We've seen a lot of good conversions tonight. 2:53 left. The clock keeps on rolling. And spot that ball in the 39-yard line in Lancer territory. Handoff to Teo. And Juju Teo maybe gets a yard on that. Again, St. Francis generally is sticking with the running game. we're seeing a little bit more balance in the offense by the Warriors, and quite frankly, it's allowed them to clearly keep pace and in this case be a little bit ahead. You know, you got to wonder how many 5-yard runs can you make down the field. We have a pass, and that gets, we got to run, but we have a flag on the field. All the way down 11, gets stopped. Andrew Atkinson gets stopped, but we got some laundry way back at the line of scrimmage. And they're ready to call this. We'll have to see who this one's against. Maybe a hold. They're the officials are conferring. Multiple flags on the field. So more than one official saw it. Flag still down. Personal foul against the Warriors, Valley Christian, so ouch. So that's going to be another 15 yards tacked on to the end of the run, and that's going to push them deep. 1:41 left in the second quarter. Yeah, these penalties are beginning to really hurt both of these teams. We've seen a lot of personal fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct, costing them a lot of yards. And that's going to bring the ball all the way down onto the Warrior 10-yard line and leave 1st and goal. We talked about gassers. They used to have, some teams way back when used to make players run wind sprints following the practices of all the wind sprint for penalties, called gassers. Handoff to Teo. Teo just runs up the middle, but doesn't get anywhere. He gets stopped. You know, we have to give some credit really to the defensive line. I mean, they're anticipating of the Warriors. They're anticipating a lot of these plays. Nehima Masuka. Good stop on that play. Second and goal now. We sometimes talk a lot about the offense, but don't give enough credit to the defense. Handoff. Oh, the ball flips out, but no, actually that's not a ball. That was a shoe. Fooled me. Camilo Arquette was the ball carrier. We're not quite sure whose shoe it was, but went farther than the ball. So timeout taken by the Lancers. This is their second timeout of the quarter of the half. Only 29 seconds left in this half. Score remains 14-13. Warriors over the Lancers. All right. Second and goal. 29 seconds left in the quarter. Pass. Yeah. And that's going to be a touchdown for St. Francis. Little pause by the officials there, but that's going to be a touchdown. And we have a injury timeout on the field at the same time. 24 seconds left with injury timeout. We will come back. All right, injured Valley Christian player fortunately walking off the field. We have 24 seconds left in the quarter. Final looks like St. Francis is going to go for the extra point here, the PAT, after that touchdown. And that is good. All right, with 24 seconds left, Lancers take the lead 20-14. Clearly, this is, as we anticipate, it's going to be a fairly close game tonight between these two excellent teams. Every drive so far has been successful. Each team finding its own way to make its way downfield. We talked about these two coaches. They have a lot of respect for each other. They know each other. They played, and the teams, quite frankly, respect each other. They look at themselves as really formidable opponents. And this is one of those key games of the year that I think that both teams put a lot of extra effort in part because they respect the quality of their team, and in part because the rivalry goes back so long and it's so even. Despite how either team is doing any given year, the coaches have said they really put a lot of effort and attention into this specific game. All right, we have Dickey and Manami deep to receive for Valley Christian. And Matthew Carrick is going to be the kicker for St. Francis. And Dickey caught that, but I think he probably touched the end zone on that, so they're going to probably call that a touchback. And we got 24 seconds left with that, and we're going to see, do the Warriors want to try and do anything, or are they just going to take a knee? Knowing these coaches, I'm guessing they're going to try a couple plays. Again, Valley Christian in particular has been able to squeeze out some big plays during these series, at least maybe get into field goal range. Nope, they actually do take the victory for Nation, so take a knee on that. The clock's going to run down. Decide not to do anything with it. All right, as we wind down for the first half of this excellent football game, Valley Christian 14, St. Francis leading 20. And with that, end of this half, and we will be back. Welcome back. We're ready to rejoin the beginning of the second half. St. Francis Lancers versus the Valley Christian Warriors. It's been mano-a-mano, although at the end of the second half, Lancers were able to get up 20-14. So it's still a one-possession ball game. Valley Christian won the toss, and so they deferred, and so they will receive during the second half, and so they're going to get the ball. They're going to obviously try and even up the score fairly quickly. You're talking to the Valley Christian coach before the game. You know, the pandemic has really disrupted a lot of these teams' rosters. In the case of Valley Christian, they had 15 of their very best promising juniors, or many of their better players that actually departed the school because of the pandemic and went to other states. And so this year, Valley Christian was forced to consolidate both its JV team as well as its varsity team. So we see a lot of sophomores on the Valley Christian roster. St. Francis hasn't been quite as much impacted, but we still think it's going to take a season or two for all these rosters to even out. Although we have seen this year, this fall, a number of the JV and the Frosh teams, actually Frosh teams, fairly strong. So ready for the kickoff. Matthew Carrick for the kick. And good one, and that one is going to be brought back. But that's going to land received in the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback, so they're going to bring that to the 20-yard line. Sort of a mixed blessing for the consolidation of the JV versus the varsity. Obviously, they're building for the future, but one of the disadvantages of having one team is that a lot of the younger players are not going to get the same amount of reps that they did on varsity with the larger varsity team than they would have gotten on the JV team. All right, 1st and 10 Valley Christian. Run around the edge, and that gets a good block on that. Keala Kanami for the block. He's get the stop on that, and he was able to stop it with about 3 or 4 yards worth of gain, limiting that. Bringing up 2nd and 6 now. Both of these teams feel like they're a little bit in the rebuilding phase, although, again, we've really seen some successes on both sides. 2nd and 6. Handoff. Josh Benami. And Josh is also brought down pretty quickly. Only's going to get 2 yards on that. 3rd and 7, or 3rd and 3. Another critical 3rd down conversion to keep the momentum going. Like I said, Valley Christian really wants to even up the score pretty quickly. Looks like he's going to be able to take off and get through. Jackson Berman again. And that's going to be enough for a 1st down. Another really good conversion by Valley Christian to be able to keep these drives going. Jackson's been pretty good about when he sees an opening to be able to run with the ball, taking advantage of it, and that's been a big reason for some of their success in the 1st half, is that he's been able to do both the run and the pass option. Short throw intended for Mark Aristi, but that's going to fall incomplete. And that's going to fall to the ground. This is really one of the first uncompleted passes we've seen. Generally, Berman's been pretty spot on, and his receivers have been pretty good about making these short ones and at least getting something out of it. 2nd and 10. Pass, and it's caught. Journey and Dickey. We're going to see where they measure that with forward progress. And, yeah, as expected, they're going to bring it out, give about a 5-yard gain on that. So that's going to leave a 3rd and 5. And again, Dickey gets pushed back, so with forward progress. Another, we've heard this before, another critical 3rd down conversion. And another long pass intended for Kai Hamilton, and looking for flag. No flags on that. So that's going to bring up 4th down. So 4th and 6, and Mike Mikado is going to bring up the punt team. One of the first unsuccessful drives we've seen on either team this game. Good stop by the St. Francis defense. Reasonably good cookout there. And we've got a flag down. So that's get stopped at 42, but we're going to see what the flag is for. Usually it's holding, but Illegal block, and that's going to go against the Lancers. So that's going to cost another 10 yards on top of that, and that's going to bring them back down to the 28. And we can see it there. Yeah, we can see that block right there. So any advantage that the Lancers has is now squandered with that penalty, and so now they're back in the 25-yard line. Run up the middle by Juju Teo, and Juju gets a good amount of yards on that, 8 yards. A 2nd and 2. I call it 2nd and 1 at this point. 8:51 left in this third quarter. Obviously, one score ahead. St. Francis is going to take their time. I wouldn't expect a lot of big plays from them. I expect them just to continue up their run game. And yet again, running up the middle, power play. Camilla Arquette, the ball carrier. But that's enough for a first down, so that's going to bring up 1st and 10. The ball on the 41-yard line. Marcus E on the tackle there for the Warriors. First and 10. Teo, the ball carrier, and he doesn't get very far on that. Maybe a few more yards. Both teams have done a fairly good job tonight on ball control. Haven't seen a lot of turnovers. Haven't seen a lot of really big mistakes. Although one has to wonder, as both teams begin to tire, are we going to see some misplays in that? 2nd and 5. Teo, good run up the middle. Not only enough for the first down, enough to get into Warrior territory. He's going to make it all the way down to about the 43-yard line. He was finally dropped down by Amato and Beldy.
It's 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line.
And we got a Teo again running up, getting a couple yards on that. You know, Valley Christian before the game declared that they're going to play 8 in the box against St. Francis, or at least that was the prediction of Coach Greg Calcagno. St. Francis coach is not going to change anything, wasn't going to change his game plan. He's quoted as saying, we're going to establish the run like we always do. I'm not going to change game plan when we play Valley. We're usually pretty close and not low scoring. And his prediction so far and is pretty much borne true. Pass, completion, Andrew Atkinson, and that is good. And that's not only a good completion, but that's good for yet another first down for the Lancers. Move the sticks forward. And see, I said he's trying to go the edge, but he's able to get enough on that to get the first down for Atkinson. St. Francis is just wearing the Warriors down. 1st and 10, 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Teo's the ball carry, runs up the right-hand side, finds a hole, It makes it all the way down, almost to the end zone, gets all the way to about the 2-yard line. We'll see where he is pushed out. And again, Juju really is a key component of this run game, and he's continues to add to his yards tonight. So 1st and goal. And as predicted, they're going to spot that on the 3-yard line. Very strong series for San Francisco. Both teams during the half were really trying to look at their strategy and shore up their own weaknesses and exploit their opponent's weaknesses. 1st and goal. And that gets whistled down. And that's going to be a Lancer timeout, their first timeout of the half. 5:16 left, and we'll come back to you. Okay, we're back. 5:16 left in the 3rd quarter. St. Francis has a 20-14 lead over Valley Christian, and they're trying hard to extend that by another touchdown. 1st and goal on the Warrior 3-yard line. Handoff, Teo. Teo runs up the right-hand side. He is going to get close, but not quite there. He's able to squeeze a yard out of that. It looks like that's going to be like on the 1-yard line, if not even closer. Very close to a touchdown. Second and goal. And Teo gets stopped. Anticipated that. Looks like there's going to be no gain on that. Because if there were any gain, it would be a touchdown. But maybe it's going to be a slight tackle for a loss as they move it back. Still going to be back on the 4-yard line. 3rd down now. And we have a timeout taken by St. Francis, something they saw they didn't like. And we'll come back. Okay, we're back after that timeout. St. Francis saw something it didn't like, so called the timeout. 3rd and goal. Handoff to Teo. And that's going to be good enough for a touchdown for St. Francis. Took him 3 tries, but they're able to move ahead 26-14. And that's going to extend this to a 2-possession game at this point. And Matthew Carrick for the PAT. And this one is good. All right. 3:45 left in the 3rd quarter. 27-14, San Francisco Lancers lead over the Valley Christian Warriors, and we will be back. All right, we're back. Carrick, the kicker for St. Francis. Dickey in the backfield for the return. And that's going to be a touchback. And so we're going to see that ball end up on the 20-yard line. what we're seeing here is St. Francis and all its power, really, of the running game. Juju Tio continues to be one of the primary ball carriers for there. And again, we're also seeing Camilo Arquette. Short gain on that one. Cepea's the ball carrier. He's able to squeeze about 6 yards out of that. Down a couple scores, you got to wonder, are we going to see a little bit more aggression out of the Warriors? Are they going to start either throwing the ball a little bit more or maybe even going for some of the longer bombs? We've seen some good throws tonight, but we haven't quite seen on some of the longer passes really good syncing up between quarterback and the receiver. This is a short screen pass, but that gets stopped pretty quickly. That one was caught by Nathan Cepea, but that's actually going to be tackled for a loss by 3 yards, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 8 now. .220 left in the third quarter. There we go, a longer pass. Oh, and that one's going to be picked. They even pinned a 2 in it on the pick on that one, but there is a flag down. Roughing the passer against St. Francis. That's going to be a bad penalty. Well, as we were guessing, a little bit more bold of a move for the Warriors. Didn't throw it in end well, but all being brought back. And that roughing the passer is going to be good for not only continued possession of the ball, 15 yards, and a first down. Big mistake by the Lancers. Ball's going to finally end up on the Warrior 37-yard line. 1st and 10. Another long pass. And that's intended for Dickey, who's able to hold on to it. That is a great play by Dickey. All the way down about the 21-yard line. And we're going to have an injury timeout on this one. Let's see the replay. Really nice catch by Dickey there. And we'll be back with injury timeout in the field, and we'll come back. All right, we're back from that injury timeout. Player with a cramp, fortunately, and he walked off the field after getting a little bit of assistance on it, where you see some cramping late in the quarter. That roughing the passer penalty from a couple plays ago, huge implications. Could actually give the momentum back to the Warriors. Handoff, run up the middle. They're going to squeeze some yards out of that. Minami was the ball carrier in that, and he's able to get about 3 yards. That's going to bring up 2nd and 7. Handoff. Clinton Ike. Ike is able to get maybe a yard on that, not a lot. We said this before, yet another critical 3rd down conversion for the Warriors. They are within field goal range. 31 seconds left in the third quarter. And we've got a timeout right on the snap, and that timeout is going to be taken by the Warriors. This is their first timeout of the half, leaving them 2. St. Francis only has 1 timeout left. And we'll be back. And we're back. Critical third down again for the Warriors. As we predicted, we're seeing a little bit more aggressive play, a little bit more willingness to throw the ball on behalf of Valley Christian. There we go again. Oh, and that one is tipped, but there's a flag down at the play. We're going to see if there's a PI on that. Let's see a replay on that. Yeah, it looks like he was bumped. Yep. And so that is going to be yet another critical penalty. That's going to bring them first and goal. They're going to put that ball halfway to the goal line, and they're going to spot that about on the 9. Berman's looking for someplace to throw. He slips a little bit. He's thinking about running, but he slipped. And they're going to tackle him for a loss. That's going to be a loss of 3 yards, bringing up second and goal with about ball on the 11-yard line, maybe 12. And that's going to end the third quarter for us. So with that, 3/4 of ball, 27-14, and we will be back. Second and goal. Long pass intended for Dickey. And Dickey's looking for flag, but no flag there. I think St. Francis may want offensive pass interference on that one. But that's going to bring up third and goal again. Obviously trying for the touchdown at this point. Really feels a little bit like the Warriors are beginning to pick up some of the lost momentum. Clearly, St. Francis had the momentum in the third quarter. Runner on the edge. And that is not going to be enough. Berman with the quarterback keep. He gets pushed down hard. He's a little slow to get up. And so we're going to have a timeout. This could be a big implication for Christian Valley. Jackson Berman down. And so we will be back. All right, Jackson Berman, quarterback, shaken up on that play. We could see he was really pushed down hard on the ground. Fortunately, he's walked off the field. And we're going to see if he's going to continue on this series or they're going to put somebody else in. So we've got fourth and goal. Warriors are down by 2 scores. Ball is on the 8-yard line. Short throw intended, but that's going to go incomplete, and the Lancers are going to take over on downs. And we'll come back. Number 10, Matthew Botello, stepping in as quarterback. And with that turnover on downs, the momentum shifts back to St. Francis. A long way to make their way upfield, but since they're just going to grind it out and let the clock run out. And again, Teo, good run up the middle, all the way. Keep on going for Teo. Juju Teo with a 95-yard run all the way into the end zone with no flags on the ground. Touchdown, St. Francis Lancers. That was not a grind. That was one long, quick run. And that's going to bring St. Francis home. Juju Teo finding that hole, making his way through, and just powering all the way up. Nobody within reach. And for the PAT, and that's good. 10:57 left in this football game. St. Francis takes a 34-14 lead over Valley Christian. And we'll be back. Dick and Arquetti in the backfield. We've returned. Matthew Carrick, again the kicker. Good kick, and that's going to be for the touchback. One of the themes that we heard from the St. Francis coach, Cal Cagagno, this year is their focus. You know, after their big win that they had against De La Salle, he went and he told his guys that it's just week 2 or week 3, and he said, we have a lot of season left. He said, if this win that they had against De La Salle is the highlight of their season, then they did not do what he wanted them to do. And so he has worked very hard to keep them focused week by week. 1st and 10, completion. Jurian Dickey. Jurian was able to get about 9 yards on that. I've got to think we're going to see Valley Christian get even more aggressive on the long throws. And we have an injury timeout, St. Francis player, so we will come back. Okay, we're back. 10:50 left in this fourth quarter. Commanding lead by St. Francis, 34-14 over Valley Christian. Although I've seen bigger comebacks in high school football with 10 minutes left, and so I would not write Valley Christian out of this game at this point quite yet. Short pass, completion. Kai Hamilton trying to get as many yards as he can, but it's enough for the first down, so they're going to move the chains forward. First down. Continuing St. Francis, you know, they've really been trying to focus one game at a time, really trying hard to make sure that they didn't get distracted by their big win against De La Salle. 1st and 10. Long pass, picked up, and that is going to be disrupted. That was intended for Jurian Dickey. And Ghetto was able to disrupt that, and so that's going to fall short. 2nd and 10. Another long pass. Intended for Kai Hamilton, and players bumping each other, but no flag down. Actually, there's a flag near the line of scrimmage. So we'll see what that flag's about. Got the replay there. Long throw. Yeah, both the receiver and the defender going after the ball, bumping into each other. So that's going to be a penalty against the Lancers. Missed what the actual penalty was. Personal foul. So that's going to be 15 yards and a first down. And timeout, last timeout of the half taken by St. Francis. No more timeouts left for them. And we will be back. Okay, we're back. A slower fourth quarter. 1st and 10, midfield. Berman, good throw. Oh, but unfortunately, Dickey could not hold on to it. Really good stop. Almost picked, but good stop. Jurian Dickey had his hands on it, but could not hold on to it. See a replay on that. That's going to bring up second in midfield. Here's the replay. Good throw, but an even better tackle. A lot of credit to Nicholas Andrighetto on that stop. Now we have Dickey with a good completion. Dickey's almost going to get to about the 41-yard line. It's going to be a little bit short. That's going to bring up 3rd and 1 as he gets pushed out. A little surprised that they put Dickey in this next play. Looks like he had the wind knocked out of him on that tackle. 3rd and 1, Valley Christian. And if there's a series where they're going to have a hope of coming back, this is really the point in the game where they have to do it. They have to score on this drive if they have any hope. Third and 1. The short pass, that was tipped. And that's going to fall down, and that's going to bring up 4th and 1. I've got to think that Valley Christian's going to go for it. Pretty much no choice at this point. You can see that pass was tipped.
It's 4th and 1 at the 41.
And it's going to bounce down onto the ground. Nice run. Oh, but we have a fumble on the play. Jackson Berman is back as quarterback, but unfortunately it looks like he bobbled that ball. Fortunately recovered by the Warriors there. It wasn't quite, I guess they rolled him down. Actually able to jump on top of the ball. All right. That means it's a first down, 31-yard line. Warriors are still trying to make something out of the series yet. Good catch. Kai Hamilton. That's going to be another first down. When these two teams played last spring for a good part of the game, The Warriors were behind, and they were able to come back at the very end in the fourth quarter and tie it and then win in overtime. The Lancers have to be careful. This game is not wrapped up for them yet. 1st and 10. Long pass off the hands of Jurian Dickey, but that's going to fall down into the end zone incomplete. Atkinson was able to get in the way there. Disrupt that play. Second and 10 now. Almost sacked. Berman's able to run up the right-hand side. And we'll see how far he got. Pocket collapsed around him, but Berman was still able to escape and make something out of it. That's going to be 3rd and 1. We're going to have an injury timeout, so we will be back. Kai Hamilton for the Warriors, injured player, walking off the field, but he's obviously not in this next play. 3rd and 1 at this point. Berman again runs up the left-hand side, throws it right before he goes past the line of scrimmage, but that's going to fall incomplete. Intended for Dickey. Again, they're getting very aggressive. You can see they just really want to get this touchdown and move on to the next possession. But that's going to still bring up 4th and 1 on the 8-yard line. We've seen as the Warriors have fallen behind, they've gotten much more aggressive in their throwing, much more aggressive in the plays. A number of near picks, but not quite. The one time it was picked, it was called back by a penalty. And sloppy penalties, but not a lot of poor ball control. 4th and 1. Screen pass caught by Dickey. And Dickey makes his way out to about the 2-yard line, which is going to be good enough for a first down. 7:47 left in the fourth quarter. 20-point deficit for Valley Christian. Should be pointed out that St. Francis is completely out of their timeouts. Valley Christian still has 2 timeouts left. A short throw to nowhere. That's going to fall incomplete and stop the clock, which is going to be important. Even though we have 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you have to think that Mike Mikado, head coach for Valley Christian, is really beginning to think about time management at this point. Again, because he has 3 possessions that he needs to make something with within that time. Intended for Dickey and again falls down, but we got a flag down after the play. And we're going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct on that one. Unsportsmanlike conduct. against the Warriors. So that's going to be an expensive 15 yards. They're so close, and now they're going to be pushed back. Second and about 18. Let's see where they actually spot it. Ouch. That's going to make it a lot harder. Yes, that was a touchdown. And that PAT is going to be no good. All right. 34-20, 7:13 left. Warriors begin to do what they can do to claw their way back, and we'll be back to you. We're back. 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. St. Francis leads 34-20. Looks like they're going to try an onside kick. Nope. And that's going to roll to actually a pretty good bounce for Valley Christian all the way down. They're going to stop him. Oh, he does not get pulled down. Kiel Kimana actually was able to make it out to the 40, the 43 eventually. He was able to break some tackles and what looked like a good kick and a short return turned into a good kick and a long return. And they're going to spot that on the 45-yard line. Call it the 43. First and 10. Handoff to Teo. Teo keeps on running. Good penetration up the middle. You know, it's funny. As much as Teo's been running today, we are just not seeing him slow down. He's making play after play after play. And every time that we think that the Lancers are just going to go slow and grind it out, we're seeing another big play by Teo to really push this forward. And so clearly, Lancers are looking to score on this drive. They're not necessarily going to try and use up all the clock time. Really seems since the second half, the momentum has been on the side of St. Francis. First and 10. Handoff again to Teo. Teo's able to make about 3 or 4 more yards out of this. And that's going to bring up second down. Again, the Lancers were the favored team coming into this contest. And we've seen some pretty good football by both sides. We haven't seen a lot of mistakes. We've seen a number of completions. Haven't seen any turnovers so far. Second and 6. Handoff to Arquette. Camilo Arquette. He's able to get the first down and keep those chains moving forward. 5:24 left in this game. And another first down for St. Francis.
First and 10 at the 27-yard line.
Handoff again to Teo. Teo is just running up the middle. Obviously, Teo has identified a gap there, a weakness in the defensive line. He knows it when he sees it and able to take advantage of it. He's able to get another 4 or 5 yards, leaving third and about 2. Making his way. That ball's going to be on the 20-yard line, so they are very close, if not in the red zone at this point. 4:25 left. That run's not going to go anywhere. Arquette, the ball carrier on that. You know, this is the first of 3 major tests remaining for St. Francis, along with what they call the Holy War, which is the game against Bellarmine on October 22nd, and the regular season finale on November 8th. And so with a victory here tonight, you know, St. Francis is well on its way to winning their league championship. That's their goal this year. Obviously, they have a lot of football left in the season, but so far they've been very, very strong. Again, we've seen the pandemic really mix up a lot of rosters. I think that St. Francis has been fortunate that they've seen less changes in their roster than some of the other teams out there. And another short run up the middle. Yard or 2. That's going to bring up about 3rd and 8 now. .253 left. And again, we expect, obviously St. Francis is just going to be very patient here. Keep it in bounds, not stop the clock. Hand off to Teo. Teo runs up the right-hand side, and Teo's going to go all the way in for yet another touchdown for St. Francis. Bringing them up 40-20. 2:28 left. St. Francis extends its lead so far. As they attempt the PAT. And that is good, and that pretty much puts the nail in the coffin for Valley Christian at this point. So 2:28 left, 41-20. Lancers take a large lead, and we'll be back. 2:28 left in the first quarter. Matthew Carrick, the kicker. Dickey Manonli in the backfield to return. And it looked like it was almost a touchback, but not quite. Dickey takes it. And he tries to get as far as he can out to about the 20-yard line. The official was there to make sure that he did not step into the end zone. It did not. It's able to bring it out. Although they're going to spot that almost exactly where it would have been had it been a touchback. So all square, I guess. Keeping a very close eye on the line there. I think St. Francis may have thought it was a touchback and let up a little bit. Okay, let's see what Valley Christian can do in 2 minutes. Dickey's got the ball running up the 30. struggling his way. It takes 2 or 3 defenders to push him out, but finally gets pushed out. They're trying to keep him in bounds unsuccessfully. And he's able to stop the clock with 2:11 and another first down for Valley Christian. They're going to spot that in the 35. Intended for Andrew Beldy, but that's going to fall incomplete. 2:06 left. Obviously, at this point, St. Francis just wants to regain possession and let the clock run out. Expect a long throw here. And that was sort of intended. I think you can argue that was also intended for Beldy, but that's going to fall down short. And we've got an injury timeout, so we will be back. So fortunately, St. Francis player walking off the field on his own power. It's sort of the high school version of the 2-minute warning. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. 3rd and 10 on the 35-yard line. Warriors trying to make something out of the series. And they're going to get sacked. Berman gets one of the first sacks of the game, but a flag comes down. And we're going to, yeah, that was a little rough on that tackle, so we're going to get unsportsmanlike against St. Francis. That's going to give them an automatic first down and move the ball all the way up to the midfield just about. I was actually going to do the spot of the foul, so correction. And so with that, it's going to be 4th down now. And about 3. 152. Berman to Dickey. Dickey has it midfield. Dickey takes it all the way, running up the left-hand side. Dickey does get pushed out. Nicholas Endeghetto for the stop, able to finally push him out to prevent a touchdown. And they are going to spot that about in the 22-yard line. I've got to give credit really to Valley Christian. They're just not giving up. I mean, they are behind and there's a lot of time left, but they are still playing hard. And they're playing hard to win, even though that looks less and less likely as the game goes on. 1st and 10. Long pass. And that's going to be broken up. Intended for Dickey, broken up by Andrew Endeghetto. And so that's going to bring up 2nd down. 1:29 left. Berman takes it up the middle, keeps it, and keeps on running, actually. Berman keeps on running almost all the way in, and touchdown for Berman. $1:19 left in this 4th quarter. Valley Christian is able to add another 6 points, 41-26 so far for Valley Christian. Again, we're seeing the fight left in these teams. And we'll see if this PAT and that's going to bring the score to 41-27. 1:19 left in this fourth quarter, and we will be back. All right, coming back to this long fourth quarter, 41-27. Lancers over Valley Christian. We got to think that Valley Christian is still going to try and do an onside kick on this play. We thought at the beginning of this quarter they're going to try that. They didn't. Will it go 10 yards, and will they touch it, and will they be able to, will the opposing team touch it? Will they be able to get it back? 10 yards, yes. Touch, yes, but they did not get it back, and so they are going to sit on it. And that may be our ball game at this point.
Onside kick covered by Patty Casey.
Valley Christian has 2 timeouts left, but I don't think under my math that's going to be enough. And I think if they just kneel a few times, that's be very close. Yeah, it looks like they're going to go for it. A bobble of the ball. Alan Dominguez tried to keep a handle on that, but the clock keeps on running. That's going to bring up 2nd and 12. And Valley Christian is not using its 2 timeouts. Not yet, at least. Handoff, number 38. Running up the left-hand side, some good yardage. Olav Griffin, and he did not stay in bounds, so they stopped the clock. 22 seconds left in this game. Actually, no, he did stay in bounds. They're going to motion to keep the clock going. And so that may have been the last play of this game. We'll have to go see. And with that, 6 seconds left. Another good football contest, and we are game over. St. Francis Lancers take it 41-27 over the Valley Christian Warriors. I want to thank producer-director Josh Young. This has been a presentation of KMVT Sports. Camera was Jacob Peterson and Breen Yuen and Robin Frank. Thank you for our camera people. Special thanks to St. Francis High School. I'm Mark Diamond, and this has been a KMVT Sports production.